And then we'll be going. All right, good. Oh, just on cue, everyone. We're going to have a thunderstorm here at my house. Okay, so sorry about that. I am Wendy Franger. I am the Associate Director of Pre-College Programs, and we're gathered here tonight to talk about summer college. Many of you are coming to us from a lot of different places. You're coming for a lot of different programs, but the umbrella name of the program is Summer College. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the things that you've been getting emails about, some of the things that might be on your mind right now. It's just a couple weeks away, less than 2 weeks away now. So you may be thinking about things like, what do I pack? What's the meal plan going to be like? All that kind of stuff. So we're here to answer those questions for you tonight. Just a thing to know. I'm just watching. There's still a lot of people coming in. Just a couple things to know. We are going to stop at the end for verbal questions, but you are welcome at any time during the chat to just drop a question. And if it's on your mind, don't wait. You might forget later. Just go ahead and put it in the chat. We have some staff members who will be monitoring the chat and hope to answer those things. All right, so let's get started. Welcome to Summer College. This is your virtual orientation. I'm going to start just by explaining a little bit about who we are. What is this program? We're at the University of Mississippi, which some of you I'm sure know very well. Others of you have never been here in your life, have no idea what it's like. Who are the people that you're going to see? That's often the first thing that people are wondering about. What's this going to be like socially? So I'm going to begin by explaining just who are the students that we're going to have and who are you going to see in terms of our broad umbrella of programs that I described. One group of students that's coming will be the Lot Leadership Program. We have students in this program who will be studying public policy and studying public speaking. They'll be learning a lot about leadership, and then we'll go to Washington, D.C. to expose them to folks on Capitol Hill. They'll get to sort of work on their networking skills and start thinking, who will I be in a public space as an adult professional? What do I want to do? How can I make waves and work towards the change that I want to see? So that's our Lot Leadership students. You'll also see students who are in the Chinese flagship program and are also in our Summer Language Institute. Actually, I think we'll just have one flagship student with us this summer. The rest will all be summer language. These are students who are here to study Chinese, study Arabic, and they will be living on campus, most of them here in July, but you may see some filtering in at the end of summer, and you will definitely see one for sure who's here with the flagship. She's here for June and July. This is a program that is geared at helping students learn critical languages. And so it's really of interest, for example, in our federal government to have students who can speak Chinese, Urdu, Arabic, other languages like this. And they recruit these students into a variety of roles in the federal government, but it's also very popular in the business world. They love to see these students who have this proficiency. And so students in summer college who are doing this are kind of getting a leg up on this and then may choose to pursue it in college. And that student you just saw was volunteering in our food pantry. We also have Summer College, the big umbrella program I mentioned, contains a number of tracks within it. So this particular student, Jonte Warren, he studied pharmacy when he was with us. You may see students in our engineering track, in our Delta track, in our arts tracks. You'll see a lot of students in summer college who are also doing general education classes, just trying to chip away so that when they get here for college, they will finish in record time. I finished in 3 years. See if you can do it. It was awesome. I loved it. And then I went on to graduate school and work and Peace Corps and all kinds of stuff. But so some of our students are in the summer college family of programs. And then Jonte also went on to do Jumpstart, which is a program for incoming freshmen. You won't see them around because they're not minors. They're not in high school anymore. They've graduated. But just to be aware, that is another program that we offer. And finally, you'll see students in our Arise and Rebel Research programs. These are programs that put students in labs on campus where they can get mentored by our faculty. So these are usually very small, kind of niche opportunities. You'll have 2 or 3 students at a time in these labs, maybe sometimes even 1, and they will be working very closely with faculty and graduate students to learn lab procedures. Honestly, it's also a lot of washing of like random lab equipment, so you'll learn all about that. But it's a really fantastic experience for those who might want to go on in the sciences, might want to conduct research someday, might want to go into engineering. So you will see those students with us as well. All right, so that's who your social group is going to be. You're also going to see our summer staff this summer. These are students on our campus. Typically, they are leaders on campus. They are the ones who are involved in student government. They're the ones who are ambassadors for their departments. They're the ones who've been orientation leaders, or they've worked in housing, which that's, I mean, if you can do that all year round, I mean, I gotta hand it to you. These students are pros. Through and through, and you'll be seeing them around because they're going to live with you in the residence halls this summer. They're the ones that are going to make sure that you have lots of fun after class. They're the ones who are going to make sure that you get to go places on weekends and do cool stuff. And they're the ones that are going to make sure to tell me if you're where you're supposed to be at night. All right. So they are fantastic, and you will get to know them soon. One other briefly thing I want to do is introduce you to our summer college staff. We have a couple on the call tonight. I said I'm the associate director, so I work with summer college, but you'll typically see me around a little less often because I also work with our day camps, with our 1 week long programs, with our incoming freshmen, and I do a lot of boring stuff at the office, honestly. But I want to introduce you to some of the faces that you're going to see a little bit more frequently. First of all, I want to introduce you to Kathy Thompson. Kathy, maybe you can unmute and just say, hey. Kathy's been helping you with applications and all kinds of things for months now.
Hello, how are you doing?
Thank you, Kathy. She is the friendly voice on the phone that helps all of you find your way when things seem to be going wrong. She's there for you, and you will see her at move-in. Ari, can you unmute and say hello?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ari, and you will see me a lot around.
You sure will. Ari's going to say a little bit more later because Ari is the architect behind a lot of the extracurricular, co-curricular programming that we do. She's also the person who helps, our summer staff help support them when somebody gets locked out. She knows what to do, that kind of stuff. So you will see her quite a bit around the summer college community. All right, and Kathy will be answering questions in the chat, as will Ari, so you can go ahead and pitch them things as we go along. So what is summer college? What is this big umbrella that I referenced? The first thing I like to say about it is it's not just taking classes. So if you wanted to take dual credit classes, you could just do that while you're at home in high school. Go to your local community college or your local university, whatever, sign up, take some classes, and many of you have. I know because I've seen your transcripts. But summer college is a lot more. It's about really test driving college, seeing who am I as a more independent young adult? What happens when I'm in the space like this? What kinds of things can I learn about relating to peers? How do I talk to faculty? How do I manage my time? That's probably one of the biggest ones, honestly. So it's so much more. It's about making those new habits, whether they're personal, social, academic. We offer a lot of student-centered events as well. So you'll see that Ari has a big planned set of activities. She's a whole calendar. You won't be able to do all the things on it, honestly, because there's just too much. You'll have to make choices. But we also let y'all lead the way too. And so do our summer staff. So our summer staff will talk with y'all. And when you're like, hey, we need a karaoke night, they'll make sure that kind of thing happens. So we really try to build our programming outside of class around what y'all want to see. I should add, in addition to that a lot of the programs like Ed Start, which I didn't mention before because it's brand new, we don't even have pictures to go with it, but that's another one of those programs within summer college. Programs like Ed Start or Lot Leadership or RISE, Rebel Research, the Delta track, the arts tracks, they offer additional events in beyond the classroom as well. So there'll be lots of things that are really focused on your interests and helping you prepare, not just academically, but professionally for the opportunities you're going to find in college. We offer tuition scholarships. I like to mention that because sometimes folks are still at this point a little confused. Maybe they signed the cost estimate sheet, but they're still wondering, how does it all work? You will be taking classes. Even if you're in a RISE or Rebel Research, you'll have a class that you take officially, so you get academic credit for what you're doing. And we offer full tuition scholarships. The University of Mississippi is unusual in that regard. I know because I work with people across the nation and they're always like, how do you make it so affordable? Our university feels that part of our mission as a public institution is to offer low cost enrichment opportunities so that students can get ready to succeed in college. And we know that things like this help students really take their college preparedness to the next level. And so that's why our university does this. It's also a chance to learn campus. So the University of Mississippi is smaller than a lot of SEC schools, which is nice. It may seem big to many of you when you get here, but it has all the things. It has the library, it has the rec center, all these things. And it's a good chance for you to learn your way around a campus. How do they work? What's it like to take the public bus system around campus? All those things that you're going to need to know no matter what institution you decide to go to once you go to undergraduate. And the final thing that is a big, big part of summer college is you attend community time 4 times a week. So I mentioned before that Ari puts together this whole bunch of a big calendar of events. Within that, there are 4 nights a week, Monday through Thursday, where you will have required activities. These are activities you must attend. And I know that doesn't sound fun. You're probably going, ugh, you know, I got homework, right? Yes, you have homework. I promise you will have time to do community time. The reason we do these things, these events, is because we know, first of all, when I was your age, I didn't always know what was good for me. We know that these things that we're doing are going to benefit you, right? We also know that it's easy when you first get here to kind of hide, right? To pull up your phone, go back to your residence hall, go back to your dorm and just kind of, shelter in place because you don't know anybody here. And community time is a great way to bring you together, help you get to know one another and build relationships. And not just build relationships with the people you have classes with, build relationships with people who are in other classes, who have other interests than yours. This is one of the joys of college, honestly, is it brings you into this new space. Everyone there is new. Everyone there has different experiences in their lives, and you can learn from that. And it's kind of a way of joining the global world in miniature. So I encourage you to lean in on community time. Most of these events will be either geared at wellness, at academics. Some of them are dealing with like college knowledge and adulting type things. And then some of them are just plain fun, especially the ones that are summer staff plan. They'll get you in a small group and it'll just be fun stuff like let's play, yard games or let's go get ice cream or whatever. So that's community time. All of this is summer college. So a lot of times at this point, students are still wondering, what is daily life going to be like? In your daily life as a summer college student, you will have classes. Most of you have 2. Typically, there's 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, but some of them are 2 in the morning. Some of them are smushed together in the afternoon, and you're like, how do I get from one to the other and still have lunch? But more or less, you'll be done with class by 3 for most of you. Community time, as I mentioned, that happens at the end of the day after supper usually. But sometimes we'll have an opportunity for you to sign up, like maybe say do the slavery tour or something like that happens before dinner, like at 4 o'clock. But typically it's an evening event. You'll also have the opportunity to do recreational things. That might be going out to our campus rec center and doing the rock climbing if you've done your liability waiver, which is in the summer hub, by the way. It might also be taking a walk at Whirlpool Trails or going with us to Memphis. There are lots of recreational opportunities that we offer that are part of daily life. People also just we have games and sports equipment and stuff. People just have pop-up games outside going or in the lobby all the time. Ping pong is very popular. And then of course it's living in the residence hall. You will each share a room with one other person, unless you signed up to have your own room and you're paying a little more for that, which is totally cool. But most of you will be assigned to a room with someone else. They will be a stranger. We don't do roommate requests because we want you to have a real college experience where you're getting to know somebody who's a stranger, but we do our best to place you with someone we think you'll be compatible with. As long as you did that residential survey in the hub, we have that information. But you will live with somebody else. You'll share a bathroom with them, but only with them, which, trust me, is super nice. When I started college, I was sharing with like the whole floor. And many residence halls are still like that, where you share a bathroom with the whole floor, but you will get to share one with just one other person. And we'll talk a little bit more about daily life as we go through. But typically you'll be coming and going all day, just, you're free of the freedom of campus. And then by night, you'll be at 10 o'clock, you'll be inside the residence hall, and by 10:30 in your room. And that's the end of a day in the life of summer college. I just went too far. Sorry. I mean, we all want to go and eat dinner, I'm sure, but all right. So I'm going to pause here for a minute and turn things over to Ari, because I want her to say a little bit more about the thinking behind our co-curriculum and our recreational offerings and what you can expect.
Thank you. When they mentioned some of the most important things about the co-curriculum, it's something important for you to understand that we have created all these activities to complement your experience. So what we're trying to do with this co-curriculum is to get you ready for college. So everybody in our office, we're educators. We have been working in college at college level for a long time. So we see what are the things that students need to get them ready for college. That's why we have decided to group all the activities into different important pillars that will support you in one way or another. For example, we get some activities that we call them Get Serious, but these are academic related. So in these type of activities, we have probably visits to different places on campus, or we have speakers coming to talk to you. We have around 30 to 35 different offices involved with our programs. And it is important for us to show up, to do, to attend, because all these departments and professors, they are ready to share their knowledge and share their skills for you to benefit from those. So 35 departments on campus, it sounds very easy, but actually it's a huge deal of collaboration. It's the summer, so some of them, they are making a special arrangement to meet you and to do something with you. So you will receive a schedule, which is tentative for now, but when you check in, you will receive your real academic schedule and also the activity schedule. So you will have the chance to see what are the things that we offer. Most of the time we have a set number of students because we want these events and these activities to be beneficial for everybody. So that's why we have a limited number of students. The way it works, every Wednesday, we will drop in our communications platform a link for you to reserve or to sign up for the different activities. As Wendy mentioned, four times or every day during Monday through Friday, you have to attend to at least one every day. Times sometimes and the maximum number of students will allow you to attend probably more, but we really we encourage you to at least one of them to attend and make your priority to go. Wendy mentioned this previously. We really want, if there's one thing that we would like you to develop during the summer, is time management. So you will be able to see all the activities that you have, and based on priority, based on everything that you have during that day, you will make those decisions and honor those decisions. Some of other activities are based on how to maintain your mind and your body active, create community, get engaged in other activities on campus and help the community. And all of them and every single activity has a reason behind. That's why it's so important, even though you think, oh, it's just a game or it's just something so simple and so silly, but there is something important behind that activity. Even going to Walmart and taking the bus, there is a reason behind everything. And our objective is that whenever you leave summer college, you leave with most of the tools and most of the knowledge for you to feel that you are ready to continue with the next academic step, and for us to prepare you the best we can for that big step. As I said before, you will receive the calendar of events. by check-in. And for those of you who are willing to do, for example, the rock climbing and many other activities that require preparation, you received already an email with a reminder for you to submit those waivers before your arrival. I don't know if I'm forgetting something, Wendy.
I think you covered it. I think that was great. And we're going to talk in a minute about some other details that I may ask you to chime in on. Thank you, Ari. So that's what you can expect in terms of your non-class time. Some of you may still be wondering about some of the real basic stuff. You're like, okay, that all sounds great, but how am I going to eat? That's important. I always want to know where my next meal is coming from too. We live in Oxford. We really love food here, as you will discover. So food, you will eat on a campus meal plan. I think you each have each have 46 meals and $156 of express money. I believe that's right. So the way it works is you will be eating in our residence hall has a place where you can eat. It's called The Dish. You can eat there. It's downstairs, very convenient, and a couple meals a day will be served there during the week. But you'll also have access to Rebel Market. Rebel Market is the bigger, larger kind of cafeteria style, buffet style place that you can eat. And typically in these places, you'll be able to find a variety of things. So there'll be salads and sandwiches and those kinds of things at lunch. There'll be pizza at Rebel Market. A lot of times they'll have like a sushi station where you can get those things. We do have gluten-free options always available, but I would encourage you, if you are going, you take a look around and you're like, I'm not finding gluten-free, or I'm not finding enough for me as a vegan. If you have those kinds of dietary restrictions, talk to us about it. Talk to one of our staff. We can sit down with the Rebel Market or the Dish chefs and explain to them these are the particular dietary restrictions that we've got, and this is what we need in terms of accommodation, and they're always happy to work with us. So you will find food in those two locations, and then on top of that, your express money can be used to do laundry. We have an on-site laundry right there in the residence halls, but you could also use it to, for example, go to our student union on campus. The student union has a lot of options like McAllister's, Chick-fil-A, Qdoba. So you can get like kind of commercial fast food there. I will add, in the summer, in June, there are a couple things you should know. We will have a lot of people here for orientation. We're welcoming the biggest freshman class that Ole Miss has ever seen. And so Rebel Market will be very busy sometimes. You may not want to go there. Same with the union. That's why we have The Dish right there in the residence hall with us. You can just rely on that as a place to go. On top of that, sometimes, the first few weeks you're like, this is very exciting. After a few weeks, you're like, I need some variety. You will have options. For one, on the weekends, we often chaperone trips off campus. So you may not leave campus, and you'll hear me say this again, you may not leave campus without either our staff or having completed a leave form, and basically you're released to your family at that point, and you're under their protection until you return. So you can check out and leave campus, but we do a lot of chaperone trips. You don't need to do that. We'll be walking to the square where you'll have great food like Ajax, which is like our Southern diner. There's Bourrée, which is more of a Cajun kind of place. There's, the new Pizza Rosario's place that's pretty good, Chicago style pizza. Anyway, you'll have the square and all the options that are there. Abner's Chicken, everybody loves that. But you'll also have the option to go down Jackson Avenue. Sometimes we'll catch the bus and go to some of the shopping plazas down there and get fast food or restaurant food down there. So Oxford has Eats. On top of that, Ari is arranging catering. You will have food for some of these community time events that she's talked about. And a lot of times we'll introduce you to some of our favorite local restaurants that way by having like hors d'oeuvres from a variety of places. So you have a lot to look forward to in terms of food, and you will not go hungry in summer college. But when I reference those trips on Jackson Avenue, I definitely want you to think about what kind of spending money do I want to have with me, just so that you're set up so that if you do decide to take one of those trips, you're able to get food and you're not just watching other people. ID cards. If you are a credit student, and I know there are a few on this call who are not, there are a few of you who are doing, for example, like Rebel Research, who are not going to be dual credit students. So your situation is going to be different. Those of you who are credit students will be able to use your ID cards to swipe in and out of the residence halls, just our halls. You'll be able to use it to pay for your meals. You'll also be able to use it at the library, at the rec center. It gets you access to a lot of different places on campus. So for that reason, it's super important. And when we hand it to you, it's like we're handing you gold. We're going to give you a little holder, put it in the holder. Don't let it out of the holder. Don't lose it. Keep it with you all the time. Those of you who are non-credit will not be able to use the recreation center, unfortunately. That is just a campus policy because of your status as minors and you're not in dual credit classes. But you will be able to still do, and you won't be able to do the library, but you will have a card that you use for meals and a card that you use to access your residence hall. So don't worry, you will still have access to things. It's just a little bit more complicated. Some of you may be wondering, okay, health concerns, what happens if I get sick? So most of you have finished have completed your medical form, okay? And so you've done your immunizations. If you haven't gotten those materials to Miss Kathy, you need to do it like yesterday, okay? We can't get you in classes without those forms. So it's really, really, really important that we have those forms from you. But if you're on campus and you are a credit student, if you get sick, you have some options. First of all, we have Student Health Services. It's a health center on campus. You can use it just like you would any other place. They will, because your minors, have you sign an additional form and have your family sign it when you show up. They'll just like email it or have you screenshot it or whatever, but they'll take care of you. And you can go there with or without us, okay, as summer college staff. Another thing that may come up if it's like nighttime, let's say suddenly it's, 9 o'clock at night and you realize that your ankle hurts and you think you sprained it earlier today. We can't take you to the health center at that point, but we can take you to urgent care. And of course, if it's an emergency, we will take you to the ER. Always know that we will be in touch with your families about that. We're not going to be having you do medical procedures without talking to your families. So if there are any nervous moms on the call or nervous dads, we will definitely let you know. Usually your child will, but we will be in touch with you if there's anything like that. And I have had a few cases where students think a rash is really urgent at midnight and they need to go to the ER, and mom's like, it is not urgent. Put some cortisone on that and go to bed. So that's how that works, right? We will involve you in the decision making. Another thing to know is if you have medicine, we will store the medicine for you. Okay. Same with your car keys. If you have a car, we will store it. Okay. You cannot hold your keys or hold your medicine while you're with us. If you are checked out, we will restore your keys to you. If you've got that leave form completed, then you can leave with your car. If you have medicine that you're taking on a schedule, you'll just tell us the schedule and we will have a person in the lobby ready to dispense that to you when it is time every day. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm trying to think if there's anything else health related that I want to make sure I touch on. Those are the big things. We can always come back to it if there are any questions. A final note, we expect you to attend class or labs if that's what you're doing. I know that probably seems obvious, but if you were planning to come here and party, this is not the place to do it. You will go to class, and if you're not going to class, the professors will let us know and we'll be knocking on your door, waking you up, and it'll be all awkward. So definitely we expect you to go to class, even though, different professors have different attendance policies. We get it. That's because they're treating you like adults, right? They expect you to take care of yourself. My own policy with students is I expect you to show up. If you don't show up, it's just like a job. You don't get paid for work you don't do, right? And I'm not going to go calling you up and chasing you down when I teach. You're an adult. You made the decision to not show up and you're going to take the consequences, right? And a lot of our professors will take that attitude, but we ask them to contact us and let us know so that we can help you correct course if you do start to fall off in your ways, sleep in a little bit. But for the most part, it is your responsibility. You attend class. What happens if you don't? Well, if you don't attend class, you can lose your scholarship. And you can see that in the policies that we shared with you, the rules and guidelines policies. Our expectation is that you will attend. And if you don't, it's kind of like you violated your contract with us, right? We expect you to come here and take full advantage of this experience and make the most of it to really help yourself grow. And if you don't do that, we can take back some of the privileges and resources you've been granted. So just a note, we do take attendance very seriously, no matter what you've heard from your big brother about college. Next thing, talk about community at college or summer college. So we're living together for a whole month this summer. And so forming community is really, really important. We want people to feel safe here. We want it to be a home. We love it when we see y'all crying at the end of the month and you're hanging all over each other and you just like can't go and your parents are like, what? You know, just get in the car. We got to get to the airport or whatever. We like to see you reluctant to leave. And that only happens because of really the virtues that you all bring, the character that you bring to this community, and that makes the magic happen. So I want to share with you a few things about sort of the structuring of our values here at the University of Mississippi. This is our creed in short for the screen. These are the values that shape us. We talk about them every day at our university. As many of you know, the University of Mississippi has a really difficult and challenging past, especially around civil rights. And so for us, these values mean that we have to talk with one another constantly, check in with one another, and make sure that we are living our values, that we are being inclusive, that we are creating a community that is a model for what we want to be in our community, in our larger society, right? We want to be a model. And so these values, respecting the dignity of each person, being fair and being civil. That doesn't mean we don't disagree sometimes. We disagree a lot. That is normal. Academically, you'll find every stripe of opinion on this campus. And we disagree all the time. I know my daughter's a student here. She tells me about some of the arguments she has in class. It's fantastic though, because we are civil to one another. We respect one another. We understand that we don't all come from the same place, but that we are working toward a common goal, right? We are all trying to build a better society. We're all trying to build better selves. Integrity is important. We don't see plagiarism here. We don't do that kind of thing. We're honest. We take responsibility for our actions. If we mess up, we're going to own it. Okay. And that includes us, right? As adults, we can mess up too, and we'll still own it. And we expect that same kind of integrity from you. So these other values like academic freedom, good stewardship of our resources, encouraging others, these are all values that mean that you're going to use the freedoms you've been given wisely. You're going to take advantage of the academic freedom of the university to explore new ideas, to explore things that maybe you've never wanted to think about before, or maybe never had the opportunity. You're going to take care of our property, our furniture. You're not going to go throw trash on the ground. That's good stewardship of the resources. And like I said, you're going to go to class with those scholarships. And finally, you're going to look around you and take responsibility for taking care of others. If you see someone who needs a helping hand, you're going to give it. If you see someone who needs encouragement, you're going to give it. And you're definitely, if you see somebody doing something they shouldn't, you're going to call them out on it, right? Or let us know so we can. So these are the things that form our creed and that shape who we are. I want to highlight just a few things that are of special importance within it. And these come back to rules, right? A secure home. So one of the things that with regard to stewardship of resources is we're not letting people inside our residence hall that don't belong there. We want it to be a safe space. And that means we only want people who are either our staff, all of whom are background checked, authorized adults, or y'all, right? Who are actually in the programs. That's the only people, and then housing, who should be in there. So you don't hold the door for anybody who's not part of our community. You don't let random people in. And you make sure that you're respectful of other people's belongings too. You don't borrow your roommate's hairdryer without asking, so that then she thinks it's lost and stolen or something like that. So these are all things that are important to us, and we take seriously. It's a place where everyone belongs. We understand society is not kind to everyone. Not everybody says things they should, but in summer college, you absolutely will be respectful to everyone. You will use language that is appropriate to use with all people. I have to say this just because it's come up repeatedly in recent years. It is never appropriate to make comments about someone's physical appearance unless they've invited you to, unless you're in some kind of romantic relationship. And I'll say a few words about that in a minute. Unless you're in a relationship, there's no call to be saying things. And I say this only because students are telling us it's so normal in our high schools to say inappropriate things about people's physical appearances that people don't even notice it anymore. And they are grateful when they can have a space like this, that it's not allowed. So be respectful of people. That also extends to other things like getting people's names right. You're going to meet people who are internationally, traveling. They are here just for this experience and they're from another country. And I want to make sure that you are respectful and try to get their names right. You might mangle them a few times. That's all right, but try. Get people's pronouns right, things like that. People from other parts of America that say that their name's different. I met a guy who pronounced his name Gerard, and I was like, I've always said that Gerard, but I said it the way he said it. So I want to encourage you to make this an inclusive and welcoming place for everyone. Do your part. A place to focus on your intellectual, professional, and personal growth, super important, and a place to get some space to understand yourself. When we move to a new location, whether it's in school, in life, we get older, whatever, we have an opportunity to reflect because that difference in experiences opens that up. And I encourage you to do a lot of reflection this summer and learn and come to understand yourself and others in new ways. Big rules. All right, got to do these. We're almost done, folks. The big rules that I got to hit. First of all, you may have visitors come to see you, but they may not, as I said before, enter the residence hall. Okay, I don't care, your mom, your dad, they can help you move in that first day, but they can't come up to your room after that point, and they just can't come in the residence hall. I'm sorry. You can meet them for a picnic on campus if you want to. But visitors are really important. We also ask you to be, aware of the need to be on the lookout for your personal security. Our campus is consistently one of the safest campuses in America. And as you heard before, we have a curfew too, so we don't let you run around loose late at night. But you need to be watching out for yourself. Don't leave your laptop on a table in the library. Go to the bathroom and come back. Okay? Take the laptop with you. 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest, I've done it myself. It's always there. But not, what about that 1/10 of the time that it's not? Okay. So take responsibility for your stuff and for yourself, and be respectful again of our rules. Staying on campus, don't leave campus without an adult chaperone. Curfew. I said before, curfew is at 10 o'clock for the building. That means at 10 o'clock, we start looking around the building, making sure everybody's in. If you come in after 10 o'clock, there can be consequences. One of the most common consequences is something like, well, you're not allowed to go out of the building the following evening, right? Because we couldn't trust you. You'll have to be in at 7 o'clock when everybody else is still outside enjoying the evening. But it's important because for us, it's a way of making sure that we are preparing to do our room checks at night, that we know everyone's where they should be and accounted for. What if you sprained your ankle and you're somewhere out in the Grove, stuck on a bench, and you can't make it all the way back? We want to know, right? And that's one way that we can know if you haven't contacted us. Otherwise, we're like, where are they, right? And let's see. And at night, you'll be in your rooms by 10:30. Every night, what happens is our summer staff goes around, they knock on the doors, and they expect you to answer the door. It's really, really important that you answer that door. They need to see your face and your roommate's face. It's not enough to just shout to the door, "We're here," like your best Mickey Mouse voice or something. They want to see that you are indeed the person you say you are. So don't be in the shower at 10:28, because they're going to knock on that door. And then it's going to be like, oh, quick, you got to rush out of the shower, get dressed while you're wet, and show us your face. Okay. I don't go to bed. Ari doesn't go to bed until we know every single person is where they should belong. Now, there's one person on this call who might be listening to this and going, wait, I will not be there. That's because we have someone who will be doing field work at night outside. And we understand that's a whole different situation. And we'll explain that when you get here. But everything's okay there. But most of you, this will apply to. On the weekends, sometimes, if you guys have been really awesome, the summer staff will let you stay up a little later. But that's up to them, not me. That's them. Well, they do ask me because they know I don't want to go to bed at night sometimes. But they do sometimes let y'all stay up a little bit later. Substances. There will be no vaping or any other kind of tobacco use on our campus. That is probably the biggest one that people sometimes have to learn. It is a tobacco-free campus. Not allowed, can't have it. The police will call you on it if you've got it, because it's against campus policy, against campus rules. And we will not tolerate it either. So I don't think any of you want to take an early trip home with your family. So definitely don't have any kind of substances, because that's a deal breaker for us. And absence, I mentioned before, but again, we take attendance really seriously. And also I would add, if you're not turning in your work in class, we take that pretty seriously too. And if I find that you haven't been doing your work pretty consistently and you're just messing around, that may be a conversation with your family about whether or not you need to go home. All right, just throwing those out there. Those are really big rules. Ari, what do you want me to hit that I didn't hit? Anything?
I think that summarizes everything pretty much. Just the procedure to leave campus.
Yes, yes. So we have the leave form. I mentioned it a few times already, but if you look in the hub, you'll see there's a button that you can click. If you're gonna leave campus, you know, maybe you have a wedding to go to or your grandma's birthday or something like that, you need to complete that form, preferably 48 hours in advance. Sometimes people, it's more like 24, but you have to complete it in advance. That form does a few things. It lets us know who you're leaving with. It lets us know that your family has approved that leave, how you're leaving and when you're returning. We have windows when we can check you out and in. And the reason for all this, the reason we need advance notice, the reason we need to check you out and in at specific times is because we plan our staff time around that stuff. We are very, very busy. Ari and I typically work 60 to 80 hours a week in the summer. And so you thinking, well, it's no big deal if I wait till the last minute to do my leave form. That could mean me having to scramble at, 10 p.m. at night to prove it so that you can leave at 8 a.m. the next day or something. That's not okay. So we appreciate advanced leave, and we also need to be able to schedule one of our summer staff to be available, because when we check you out, what'll happen is you'll come to the table in our central lobby and say, I'm here to check out. I did a leave form, and they'll look it up and confirm all the details are correct. And then they'll call your family and say, I'm calling, Jennifer is leaving at this time, and she's going here. Just wanted to check and make sure that's okay. And then, they'll, assuming your parents did approve that leave form, they'll say, yes, that's fine. And you'll go. Or if they're there, we don't need to make a phone call. So it's really important. And when you get back, we need to know that too. Otherwise, we're thinking you're missing, right? And then we're going to call your family and say, hey, where are they? And then they're going, oh my gosh, they're missing. What happened? Why didn't they ever arrive on campus? So it's really, really important that you use the leave form and you do the check-in and the check-out. And we'll go over that when you get here too. The other thing I would say is don't overuse the leave form. We have students sometimes thinking, I think I'll, hang out. I don't want to be there on the weekends. I'm going to go home, or I'm going to go to my cousin's house or whatever. Don't do that. College isn't, you don't check in and out of college constantly. Give yourself the full intensive month experience. Build relationships that you're going to have and love. And we have students who end up rooming together. They go to the same college and they end up roommates. We have students get married eventually. Invest in those weekends. Spend time here with us. And I always say to families, I know especially Ole Miss alum, they want to come back and be there every weekend and like take their kids to the square. A little bit of that is okay, but really try to give them that space, because they'll appreciate it and they'll enjoy that space. I said I would mention romantic relationships too. It's fine to fall in love, love it, great. It's good for you. I fell in love in high school too, still married to the guy. But while you're here with us, we ask that you please be respectful and not engage in all kinds of activity that could end up in consequences for you. And the summer staff will kind of police that. They'll be looking out and making sure that people stay on their side of the gender doors, right? You're not allowed to, you can't swipe through. So don't let each other access the other sides of the residence hall. That's another big no-no in our programs. All right. And I said we were almost done. And as long as I can find the advanced slide button, we will be done. Okay. Final note. You will have moments when you need help here. That's okay. We have tutoring available. Our counselors, our staff, they're super smart folks. A lot of them have really done well in hard classes and they can help you. Some of them may even be in your classes. They can absolutely help you. But we have tutoring support that's free on campus. You're going to be using Discord, and we'll talk about that once you get to campus, but Discord is going to be our social media network basically for connecting to one another. You'll have a channel where you'll get announcements and updates. You'll be able to register for events you want to attend, or if it's past curfew and you suddenly need some help, you can drop in the Discord, you know, hey, I need something. And one of the summer staff will be monitoring it and respond to you. So it's going to be a great resource for you. And I just encourage you to find mentors while you're here. Talk to the faculty outside of class, talk to the summer staff, talk to us. We love it. And really try to find yourself people who can guide you along the way of life, because you can never have too many mentors. And the final thing I'll say, our campus is very friendly. You will feel lost sometimes. It's okay, especially in the first few days. We'll give you the tour, but it'll still look like a bunch of brick buildings with columns. Never hesitate to ask somebody. Everyone there was new at some point on campus. They know what it is to be lost, and people are generally really nice. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Final thing, you are going to arrive on campus. You are going to move in, right? You've all scheduled move-in windows. You're gonna get here and then you're gonna put all your things in your room. We have big blue carts that you can load a lot of your things into, but it helps if you bring yourself like those big plastic bins or suitcases, things like that you can tote a bunch at once. It really does kind of help you. We have an elevator. Usually it's working. It seems to be working right now. Hopefully it'll continue in that vein. But on that day, you will move in and then we will have a welcome session. There's one in morning, one in afternoon, where you will get to know us. We'll reiterate some of the same stuff. And then students will go off and take a tour. And parents, if you want, you don't have to, but we have a little session just for parents to talk a little bit about how to coach your children from the sidelines, because this is a big step for them. And we want to help you be supportive and encourage them in their independence. One thing we do suggest that you do is check your web ID access, make sure that you have everything set up the way you've been encouraged to with our emails that we've been sending. If you've received a notice that you should get books, you can get them ahead if you want, or you can wait till you get to campus. The bookstore will also have books. Many professors just use a course pack that they post in Blackboard. It's like an online thing, so you won't have anything physical at all, but just pay attention and check if you get an email like that. And the final thing you need to do is pack. And the packing list is in our summer hub. Do pay attention. You will want comfortable shoes. Do not think that your Crocs or your flip-flops are going to be adequate for all the walking that you're going to do. And definitely bring an umbrella. It gets rainy here in Mississippi in the summer. And when it comes, it's for real. It's serious. And that's it. I'm going to open things up for questions. And I can see there are lots and lots of questions. Probably some of them have been answered already. I will be here just a couple more minutes to answer questions, but Ari and Kathy will stay on the line as long as you need. So there you go, folks. Welcome to Summer College. What do you want to know? Oh, and I wanted to, one more thing I wanted to remind you guys. Sorry, I heard a question. I'll take it in a minute. Ari had asked me, please remember to sign your rules and guidelines form if you have not yet done it. That is important to us. We'll make you do it when you get here and that'll slow things down. So do it now. Okay, Michaela, you had a question.
We need iPad, laptop, or anything for like assignments for the courses or anything?
That is a great question, Michaela. We recommend that you bring a laptop. It is so much easier if you have one or a tablet that you can bring, but especially a laptop. If you don't have one, or you have a dinosaur laptop that your great aunt thought was going to be a great gift and gave it to you, and you're like, no, this thing does not work. We do have campus laptops that can be rented for $75 for the month. That's pretty affordable, and a lot of students like that option. We also have computer labs that you can use in the library. It's just they're not open in the middle of the night when a lot of you tend to do your work. So definitely having a laptop is an advantage. Good question.
Okay, thank you.
What else?
You might have answered this already, but for like class schedules, do we get those as soon as we get there?
Yep, when you arrive, you'll get a printed class schedule, and we'll also tell you how you can access it yourself. But yeah, you will get your own class schedule. I'm going to pop off for another meeting, but Ari and Kathy will be able to answer all the questions. Thank you all so much. It was nice to see you, and I can't wait to see you in person.